Chapter 4, Rewriting Your Story. Now, zooming back in again to your recent conflict and letting go of blame, can you sit with the simple reality that in this conflict you were suffering and that some of your suffering was so much bigger than this current situation and so much bigger than the other person? And likewise, can you sit with the reality that in this conflict, the other person was also suffering, and that so much of their suffering was also so much bigger than this current situation, and so much bigger than you or anything that you did or didn't do? The goal here is to try to see a different perspective than the one that your narrative is keeping you locked into. It isn't about trying to forgive them or to justify or condone their behavior. They may have legitimately been behaving appallingly, and you might be completely justified in your outrage and your hurt. This is not about forgiving and forgetting. This is about trying to see that they are consumed by their own suffering. It's easy to latch onto the stories that we tell ourselves about why things have happened. For instance, calling the other person a selfish asshole might feel good at the time, and it also wraps the conflict up into a nice, neat little bow. It gives a simple explanation about why things happened, but it also robs us of our capacity for empathy and connection. Bishop Tutu once said, when we dehumanize another, we ourselves are dehumanized. So instead of doing that, let's try something new. Let's try rewriting our narrative. So feel free to grab your journals because this will be another turning inward self-reflection exercise. And remember, please feel free to pause the video whenever you need more time to write. Okay, so when you're ready, let's begin. I want you to try to imagine for a minute that you had a completely different storyline than the one that you've lived with for so long. What if you never blamed yourself for other people's hurtful behavior towards you or for their inability to truly see you? What if you never felt inadequate or unlovable or too needy or maybe just plain weird? What if you had the luxury of walking through the world knowing in your bones that you were always good enough and that you always belonged and that you were always worthy of love? What if you were able to recognize just how sacred you truly are? And that you never had to prove yourself to anyone or earn your acceptance from anyone. What if you never had to hide any of the parts of yourself? What if all of the parts of yourself belonged? What if you had the luxury of walking through the world with this inherent self-confidence, with this intrinsic self-acceptance and self-respect? How would your life be different? Take some time to really reflect on this. How would your relationships with other people be different? How would you show up differently in them? Take some time to journal and reflect on this question. Question 2. How would you spend your time differently? Where would you invest your energy? What are the things or experiences or causes or endeavors that would truly matter to you? And 3, how would you feel different? Would you be opening yourself up to more joy or more excitement or adventure? Or would you be feeling a greater sense of peace and harmony and connection? Would you be more confident and assertive and less apologetic? Or would you listen more and talk less? Try to understand more, maybe, and feel less of a need to have to explain yourself. Question 4. If you were more open-hearted and trusting of this world, and if fear and doubt weren't holding you back, what risks would you take that you have been too scared to take? And lastly, question 5. What are the things that your heart has been longing for? Again, take some time to journal and really explore this question. James Hillman said, "Tell me what you yearn for, and I will tell you who you are." You could try closing your eyes and just imagining that you're in a place where you're feeling at peace and deeply connected to yourself and to nature and to those around you. And now try to let some scenarios come to mind. What are you busy doing and who are you with? If different scenarios or locations keep popping up, that's great. Go with that. You can get really creative with this exercise too. Remember when you were a kid and your imagination took you to all sorts of places? Well, see if you can unlock your imagination now. It can be as wild or as outrageous as it wants to be. What did the 6-year-old in you dream about doing or experiencing? My 6-year-old wanted to be a mermaid, so my imagination would take me to some aquatic adventure in some warm tropical place. So spend some time on this journaling exercise and just throw ideas at the page. They can be completely unrealistic. Just let your curiosity lead you to wherever it wants to go. The only requirement for this exercise is that you give yourself time to let your curiosity percolate. So I would say write at least 5 pages or spend at least 20 minutes doing this exercise. And if you really get stuck into it, then by all means, spend more time doing it. And when you're done, hold on to your writing because we're going to be referring back to it in part 3 of this course.